with all the pollen out there. A lot of us are heading out to car washes often. Some people opt to do it at home. The important thing to know is that we can all wash our cars like a pro. To give you all the tricks, we've got Consumer Reports car expert Mike Quincy with us. He's sharing the do's and the don'ts of car washing and the right way to do it. All with you today. So you can text him your questions. Here's how you text that question. The number is 336-379-5775, and you get your question answered here on the spot. You know, Mike, I've got some folks here at work who are like just obsessed with washing their car, and I kind of am on the other spectrum. If it rains, I feel like that's enough. It's probably not enough, is it?
No, not quite.
Okay.
Especially as you introduce this topic, there's all this pollen and all this stuff that's coming off the trees. And for people that live where they've got pine trees, they probably have a few pine trees in North Carolina, right? So some of that's going to fall in your car. So definitely take the time and do a thorough washing. And the first step is one of the most important. And that's you want to give your car a thorough rinsing down with the hose. You're not even applying the soap and the sponge yet. You're just kind of rinsing off the debris to begin with.
Okay, and I see that. And the first thing that was on that graphic was don't wash your car when it's hot. It definitely not in direct sunlight. The direct sunlight is when you start washing it. The heat and the sun is going to dry up the water really quickly. You get all these water spots on your car. So you definitely don't want to do it when it's super hot or in the direct sunlight. That might mean doing it first thing in the morning and definitely in the shade. Okay. All right. So you want to wash it all down first with just water. Then you do the whole soap thing and whatever else. So I grew up using like dish soap. That's what people use to wash their car. What are the real do's and don'ts for that?
Well, Dawn may be great for your dishes, but it's not great for your car. You want to get a dedicated car wash soap that's specifically designed for car paint. It's not going to ruin your car's clear coat or some wax that you might have put on it the previous season. And I know certainly here in the Northeast, you want to make sure you do a good job also rinsing the undercarriage of your car. A lot of rust can form underneath your car. It's not always on the surface. It can be in your chassis and whatnot. So you make sure you get that hose way down underneath your car and do the undercarriage as well.
Yeah, I know we talk about that a lot after we've had like a snow and there's been salt on the roads and things of that nature. Okay, so now that you've washed the car and you've washed it with the stuff that you're supposed to wash it with, not the stuff that we all grew up washing it with, what is the most effective way to dry your car?
Well, you definitely want to get a dedicated chamois or a really soft terry towel. I know in my house, in my garage, we have like dedicated equipment we only use for car washing, and that's its own bucket, its own a specific car sponge, and we definitely have our own car chamois. Chamois is really good because it soaks up a lot of water. It's easy to rinse out, and you just keep using it over and over. But don't go short on these things. Have extra towels and chamois on hand just in case they get super soaked. I mean, the last thing you want to do is if you miss a section of your car from washing and there's some dirt there, last thing you want to do is take the chamois or a towel and like rub the grit and dirt back into the paint. So definitely like swap out your chamois and towels as much as you can.
Okay, now this is something, it's kind of funny, like we all do the wash on, wax off thing or whatever else, but most of us do probably like wash like in a circle, and you say that's probably not the best way to do it.
Right, because when you wash in a circle, you might get these swirling marks in your paint. It's better to go across. Like this great visual that I'm giving right now. For those at home, watch Mike do his hand across the screen. Yeah, because that is a better, more efficient way to keep your car's surface from getting those swirl marks.
Okay. Of course, someone's asking what's the best cloth to clean your car to keep from having scratches, and you say the chamois.
Yes, definitely a chamois. There's also specific gloves that you can use to sponge the car down. Also, again, you have a dedicated sponge that's only used on your car. And again, you want to make sure you keep checking it. You don't want any dirt to accumulate in the sponge. And so rinse it out or even have another one on hand.
All right. And someone's asking, how often should someone wash their car? And is it a maintenance issue?
It can be a maintenance issue. I mean, if you have, the dirt and the grit can degrade the car's paint or the clear coat. So you definitely want to do it on a regular basis. It depends where your car lives. If your car is garaged on a regular basis, you might not need it as much. If your car sits outside a lot,
then you might need it more often. I mean, it's definitely a visual thing. And as you mentioned, I mean, certainly here in the Northeast, we're also having a huge onslaught of pollen. It's not only, killing my eyes, but it's also hurting my car.
Okay. We've got a question about, like, how do we keep the windows from streaking?
Yeah, that also is kind of a dedicated window cleaner. There's a guy that used to take care of the cars at Consumer Reports Test Track, and believe it or not, he used old newspapers to wash the windows of the cars. I'm not sure that's a great way to go. And how can you find a newspaper these days, because they're all gone? But again, I would use just some good paper towels and some window cleaners, but only use that cleaner on the glass. Don't use that cleaner in other areas.
Oh, you mean like on the inside of the car?
That's correct.
To make it all shiny and stuff. That's not what we use. No Windex inside the car.
Just on the glass and maybe the mirrors. That's about it.
All right, we're going to talk more about this. He's also, a car expert, so he can talk to you about other things like maintenance and tires and things of that nature. So if you've got a question, you can text it to us, 336-379-5775.